David Wilcox. He had one of the episodes, he talks about it the entire episode. So that's where I learned about it.
Yeah, not sure if you guys can hear that on Zoom. Can anybody give me like an audio? Do you guys heard that? Yeah.
No.
No. Okay, so Little Blue Book. If you see it, let us know.
That's the title.
Guy from Omaha.
Guy from Omaha. All right, yeah, we'll move on here. So yeah, Nebraska Iowa MUFON meeting. We do scientific study of UFOs for the benefit of humanity. As the world's oldest and largest UFO phenomenon investigative body, we aim to be the inquisitive mind seeking answers of most of the ancient question, are we alone in the universe? So that's kind of MUFON's mission statement. Here's Greg's comic of the week. We get like one little thing, you know, always to kind of bring some humor into the meeting. Got kind of a hot rod going there. Nebraska MUFON team. I'm just do real quick. Hal Finley, that's me. I'm the state director. We got Fred Ziwi. Bam, he's right here. Fred Ziwi, assistant state director. Tamara, he's right over there. Whoa, right there. Tamara, chief investigator. John Barta, I don't think we have here today. Maxwell Hobbs is our trainee. We got Dave Harris as a consultant. Jack Casher, he's here. Famous Jack Casher. Anybody want to get his autograph? He's way in the back. Also another consultant. Always glad to have you, Jack Casher. For the Iowa team, Greg's gone. He's the state director. We got Dave. He's the chief investigator over there. Larry's the field investigator. Beverly Moore, ERT representative. Keen, he's in the back here too, field investigator. And Marty Burroughs is going to be a trainee for Iowa. All right, I guess we're doing MUFON news first. And we'll see if Greg comes through on this.
This message from Dave McDonald, MUFON Executive Director. Farewell to Dr. Bruce McAbee. Dr. Bruce McAbee, MUFON member and incredible researcher, passed May 9, 2024 at the age of 82. Dr. Bruce McAbee's name shines like a distant star, a beacon of curiosity, dedication, and unwavering pursuit of truth as he steps beyond the veil of our earthly existence. We bid him farewell with gratitude and admiration. The stargazer, Bruce McAbee, was more than an investigator. He was a stargazer. His eyes perpetually turned skyward, seeking answers among the constellations. With each sighting, each grainy photograph, he wove together a celestial narrative, a story of beings beyond our ken, traversing the cosmic currents, the analytical alchemist in his laboratory of pixels and light. Bruce transformed UFO images into gold. Armed with scientific rigor and an artist's intuition, he dissected photographs, films, and eyewitness accounts. His alchemical process revealed hidden patterns, anomalies, and the tantalizing glimmer of something otherworldly. The gentle skeptic, Bruce never abandoned skepticism. Even as he danced with the unexplained, he questioned, probed, and challenged. Yet his criticism was not a fortress. It was a bridge that connected believers and skeptics, inviting them to cross and explore the twilight realms together. The cosmic poet, his words flowed like comic trails across the pages of UFO literature. Bruce's eloquence painted vivid landscapes, the Nevada desert at dawn, the shimmering skin of a saucer, the hushed conversations of dimly lit rooms. He wove poetry from witness testimonies and star charts, leaving us with verses to ponder under moonlit skies. The legacy among stars as we bid farewell, let us remember Bruce McAbee as a celestial voyager. His legacy orbits our collective consciousness, a comet with a long tail of wonder. Perhaps in some distant galaxy, he now stands on an alien shore, gazing back at Earth, whispering secrets to the cosmic wind. Thank you, Dr. McAbee, for your tireless quest. May your journey among the stars be as mysterious and magnificent as the phenomena you sought to unravel. Fare thee well, fellow Skywatcher.
He was a really, really good scientist, really good.
For the people on Zoom, were you able to hear that? Just to double check.
Not real well, but I saw it in the journal, so.
Okay. I forgot if I was sharing the audio. Let me do this. Share this. Okay, yeah, my bad. The sound was off for that, so. Sorry, everybody's sitting in silence on there. Castro said he was a real good scientist?
Yeah, he was a
Physicist.
years and years, he was really good.
Is he, what do you know him for, I guess?
We kind of worked together, never really investigated a lot of things together, but he was at some places where I was and we were looking at stuff.
Oh, so you were at some of the same places and you worked kind of on some things. Okay.
I think his name sounded very.
Yeah, I think he's pretty well known. All right. Symposium news. So like now you guys on Zoom should be able to hear this, hopefully.
MUFON to unveil astonishing UAP material test results at symposium. In what is being called the most important UAP-related presentation MUFON has ever made, the Mutual UFO Network MUFON will reveal details about a UAP materials case it recently received from Russia in an exclusive live event on Saturday, July 13, 2024 at 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time. The case will be presented both in person and via live stream at MUFON's annual symposium, revealing the story behind mysterious materials delivered to the home of Russian UFO investigator with evidence of a cover-up. Tests by Russian labs, later corroborated by MUFON's own U.S. lab, confirmed the material is of unknown origin. While virtually any materials can be identified by its components from the periodic table, unknown combinations of isotopic ratios can often point to the mysterious origin of samples. In this case, 90% of the sample is made of materials that the labs were unable to identify. The story becomes even more compelling as some of the samples sent for additional testing were stolen from an official U.S. Post Office box shortly after they arrived for retrieval by MUFON investigator Robert Sphering. On top of this, cameras were turned against the wall, inhibiting investigation, although postal workers testified they delivered the box. This is typical with evidence of this nature. We believe that this material was deliberately taken by someone who could hack into a locked post office box to prevent further testing. Who did it is anybody's guess, stated MUFON Media Relations Director Ron James. The evidence that supports this story and others that we will share at the symposium could make this the biggest UFO-related news event of the year. We have physical materials and have evidence of non-human technology, said James.
All right, were you guys able to hear that better online?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna have any of the Big Lake stuff here, Big Lake over in Iowa, but I know they've done analysis on those materials where the UFO dumped a whole bunch of slag, and a lot of people got collections of that. And actually, for the QED project we're working on, Space Warp, we're working with Larry Lemke, who did the analysis on the Big Lake metal stuff over there. So kind of weird how all that stuff's kind of just connected together. Here we got the stats for Nebraska and Iowa, conveniently being covered up by this little bar that I don't know how to get rid of. This is a yearly case count. So for Iowa in June, we have 4, and for Nebraska, we're at 2. And looks like we're dead even 10 and 10 for each state. Here's a graphical representation. And for people who don't understand or don't remember or don't know about the news, but February to April, we had our CMS taken down. So completely dead zone, no cases during those times. Nobody reported anything. We couldn't do anything. And so now we're just starting back up.
What happened to CMS?
The CMS, apparently they're trying to implement a new watermark on all the images on the CMS, so like people wouldn't be like taking them and just posting them on random websites. And apparently doing that, they overused all the storage from the thing, and so then it crashed, and they didn't know what happened for quite a while. You know, they're like, oh, it'll be up in 2 weeks, or it'll be up in 3 days. Took 3 months apparently, you know, figure that out. But it was just an internal thing that they, you know, just kind of messed up with the system, but they got it fixed now. And they'll be moving forward with the watermark yet in the future, I guess, if they have more storage now or something, shouldn't be an issue. Here's the yearly yearly totals for each state. Nebraska in the green and Iowa in the blue. So looks like last year, I guess Iowa had 53 at the max and Nebraska was at 25. So apparently Iowa's doing pretty good. And then this year we're going to be building back up. But with 3 months knocked out of the system, I don't know if, you know, should expect lower numbers for this year. This is the attendance per month. The one high spot is the symposium we had in March, 84. And the rest of it, you know, we slowly increasing over the years. I think we've been doing pretty good. Just trying to keep track of everything. And actually, this meeting will have had the 1,000th person coming to our meetings since I started back in 2020, you know.
Second person coming in.
It will be, actually, let's see. So this one here, I have it, so it should be the 7th person. Whoever came in 7th will be the 1,000th person.
Really?
Yep. So if you kept track, you guys were here first. Might be.
Timing.
Because yeah, Steve, myself, Tamara, you two, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Roger.
5, 6. Was Roger come after you or you came? You came after, I think Roger's number 7 then. Hey,
Think he was.
I actually got a reward if you want one.
Now, when did we go from meeting every week to once a month, obviously?
After COVID.
COVID, yeah. COVID, we basically, you know, we're canceling meetings, but we were like, oh, we'll do online meetings, but we didn't get enough to do like every week. So it's like, oh, we'll just start doing once a month. And that's when I started keeping the attendance numbers. So yeah, actually from Rich's collection, Luis gave us one of these, an alien bag on there. If you're interested, I'd give it to you, because we have another one that I'll probably do next time.
Well, sure.
I'll show it.
When Jack Casher was state director, we had, you had 20 or more folks.
20.
Every
Well, something like we're coming all these times.
My timing was perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had great attendance at the local libraries. Went to the libraries most of the time.
We can drift it around.
Yeah.
Oh, you would go to the public libraries?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, before-
The library that Lincoln stole from us. We were at UNO on the second floor in the geology department. In the room right next door, they have all our books.
Right.
I don't know how when they go back, but they swipe all our books and they have it down there and you have to get special permission to put it. I was actually in charge of it. They never should have done that, but they did. So we could probably demand the books back if we're setting up something.
You should.
Yeah, at UNL, you said?
UNO had,
Yeah.
for a while there at the Med Center, but then we had them brought back here, UNO. And they were supposed to remain. And for some reason, they disappeared and ended up in Lincoln. I don't know how they justified it.
How many books? How big is the collection?
I don't know. A couple hundred of them. There are a lot of books.
Couple hundred books.
Almost filled with books.
That a while ago, they were gonna have it available and have it on display. And then, and that was, I don't remember all of it, Dave might remember, but then they took it off display and now you get special permission.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Like you can view the books, but you can't take them or something like that.
Did they have MUFON meetings? Do they have that meeting?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I
wonder
mean,
how we could
we're the state chapter, so.
I
Somebody in the library has to, some knowledge of it, and some power to give it back,
Yeah,
because it's ours.
and somebody in the library has to know how they obtained it to begin with.
It's been years, but somebody has to do that.
Yeah,
Well, you know, people change out all the time. So I guess just to update the people on Zoom. Yeah, there's a collection of books that was originally our Nebraska MUFON. Was the owner of them, or?
That's who we were, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Nebraska MUFON had a collection of books down, and it was in Lincoln, got moved up here, and now it's back in Lincoln. And they have the collection, but we don't know how to get if they would give them back to us, or who would know that they would be, you know, should be in our possession, I guess.
I started looking into it, but it just became a hassle. We had to go see somebody and have permission for this, and
Yeah, I think it'll be really hard to get any of that material back, because, you know, like, people rotate out, and once those people are gone, you know, things like this is gonna be lost to history. So, but if they do have like an old librarian there or somebody, they might be able to do something with that, yeah. So maybe I'll start digging around a little bit on that.
property. That was the first problem.
yeah.
The first problem was we didn't have a place to store it, and that is still the current problem. Yes, yeah, we're working on it. I was thinking about maybe doing like a Patreon or something. If we had like everybody throwing like $1, we can get like a storage facility for like $50 a month, you know.
But you want something that is easily accessible.
Oh yeah, like Roger's garage. We could just keep throwing fill up his garage.
Just fill his Corvette up with books and bring them over.
Yeah.
You know, that's the same, the garage where my Corvette was stolen was 2 garages over.
Yeah.
That I didn't know was stolen until the police called me, and that it was involved in a police chase and got in a wreck when it went around the corner real fast. Slid into the curb, broke the axle, and the guys that stole it got out and ran.
Wow.
Then the police thought I was the one driving it when I got.
So you're saying that they skipped the UFO material and they went for the Corvette? Really?
Well, it was a different.
That UFO material is worth a ton of money, though.
I'm lucky they stole the Corvette, not the UFO.
It's just another craft.
Yeah. All right, here we got the percentages. This is the automatic thing from the MUFON CMS. Apparently we did went to 66% in May, and then in June we're back to 100%.
That lower rating,
We have a low
49.
I think that's just alpha.
Far down the rabbit hole did we go on that one, Dr. Casher? 49th.
I think that's just alphabetically. Once you hit 100%, I think they just do it like it's all automatic. Nobody know. And yeah, they were talking about it at the meeting last time too. It's just like there's nothing they can do about it. But we're back at 100%, you know, and we still got some cases that aren't completed yet. So
45th to 49th, we went down with 100%.
well, it's because yeah, a lot of other people got 100% at the same time. So that's just how that kind of works out. Okay, we'll do an investigator case review. Starting with Greg. Apparently this one's scary. I see in all yellow. Let's see if his audio plays.
Case 136709, investigated by myself, Greg Anderson, and Marty Burrows. The synopsis. On May 10th, 2024 at 20:30, near Cedar Rapids, Iowa, the witness saw and photographed an object. The witness detail, or rather the short description, the first one was white, teardrop shaped. Second one was kind of cigar disc shaped, descended, then slowed down mid-flight. And the detail was one word: scary. Witness interview. There was no witness interview, as the witness left no contact information at all. The only evidence that we had was a photograph that was attached to the case. The conclusion and summary, we could not contact the witness, and there was not enough data to conclude a disposition. The photo looks to be a contrail of a plane that is lit up by the sun. Flight radar 24 shows 2 possible hits for a plane flying west in the Cedar Rapids area, but as we could not contact the witness, we cannot be sure that it is even in the Cedar Rapids area. I'm calling this insufficient data.
That's deciding against.
Yeah, so there's picture, I guess. But yeah, with no witness contact information, it's hard to follow up on anything.
Yeah, it does look like a plane.
Same contrail?
Yeah,
One guess.
much higher altitude than the clouds that are shadow.
You don't really see a plane anywhere. Well, yeah, I guess the contrail would kind of fit
Right there.
sitting in the back. Where?
I like that right in the beginning. That kind of looks like,
I don't see anything there.
right.
Any other guesses?
Plane.
Plane. Okay.
That file was informational.
Yeah, he put, well, you know, he put in some different data. Yeah. All right, Dave, do you want to take your case?
Yeah, this will be real short. On May 15th at about 11 p.m., an Oskaloosa, Iowa witness reports seeing two bright ruby red lights moving slowly just 100 yards in distance above the tree line. I contacted the witness by email, and a phone interview was arranged at an agreed upon time and date. He seemed very enthusiastic. He said, "Yes, please call." Our new investigator trainee, Marty Burrows, was secondary on this case, and I wanted to get him in on the interview, so I set up a conference call amongst the three of us. The witness did not answer the phone. A message was left, and further attempts to communicate were unsuccessful. So unfortunately, I had to give this an insufficient data case.
Iowa boys don't want to talk.
Any questions? On the next case.
It must be really frustrating when they can't get them to talk.
Yeah, you know, well, you can't really do any investigation, you know,
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Oh, next one's for Dave too?
Even Marty, team.
Actually, this is Marty's case. He's going to present this one.
Hey, Marty.
Yeah, Marty, I was secondary, I think, on this one. So Marty's got it.
Okay. And I really apologize. First of all, I'm Marty. Hi, everybody. We got a couple cases here, but one I'm going to hit on just a little bit longer. Then I got to take off for my granddaughter's softball game here, so I do apologize. This one occurs in Clear Lake, Iowa, which would be a little bit, let's see, we're looking at northwest of Waterloo, if you're looking at the map there. So and this is report number 137042. This was reported on May.
I got 137111. Are we on the same case or no?
No, that's another case. Go ahead, Marty.
Yeah.
You want to start with the other case? It might be in here.
Well,
go ahead, David. Explain.
No, Marty's got to leave, so he's got to leave the meeting soon. So
all right, so you want me? I can do the other. I can go to the other case. One.
There it is.
Okay, 137042. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Okay, this was reported to MUFON at May 31st of this year. However, it's quite extraordinary. They had submitted that it happened back in June of 2007. So, but however, he had a lot of information and everything. So I contacted the witness, and after speaking with him, we determined that it was June 21st of 2001. And that was after he spoke with his wife, that she confirmed that it was 2001 instead of 2007. Also, he had stated that what he had seen, he wanted to reassure us that there is no moon. So it kind of cut that down to June 21st. That was with it being fair skies and so forth. So we got that down on June 21st. That was the date of the new moon. However, there was a solar eclipse to my investigation, but of course that was way earlier in the morning, the prior morning. So that'd be a moot point. Like I said, this did happen in Clear Lake, Iowa. The witness had stated that he was sitting in his back deck. This was approximately maybe about 10 o'clock in the evening. and he looked up in the sky, 90 degrees, and he saw a object that was hovering just above the tree line. So he watched this for about 5 minutes, and it was traveling west to east, real slow, until he had lost sight of it over the tree line as it was proceeding east. He noticed that it was maybe the size of a football field, and it was rectangular in shape, even though he wasn't really. Okay, yeah, you got the. Yep, there you go. You got the diagram right there.
You want me to go to the next slide or?
Hang on here, sir, just a minute.
Hang on.
Just wanted to see what. Because this isn't, why does that say 2004?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No, these are my images. Sorry.
This is not the,
Right there, is that it?
No. Just go ahead. These are
Okay.
images I added after Marty's done. Then I'll do these 3 images.
oh, okay. So those are your images. He didn't, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so from what he had described as being a rectangular, maybe the size of a football field, he stated that there were white, faint, pulsating lights outlining the object, and they were spaced out. Maybe I think he said, I'm looking at my notes here, they were spaced out 10 to 15 feet. There was no sound, and like I said, he lost sight of the object or of the object as going over the tree line. When I asked him why he waited so long to report it, he stated that he didn't really think anything of it. He said he had nothing to drink. He does not indulge in drugs or anything like that, but he thought it was important to bring up because he has become very enthusiastic towards us, what phenomena that we're seeing in the skies. He watches all the documentaries and so forth. I found him to be credible. Of course, the flight data back then was not available. And also satellite or anything like that. And also the airport at that time, we don't have any data or anything, but like I said, I found him to be very credible. He was very sincere. He even kept track of us, emailing us and so forth. And like I said, I think he gave Dave, he gave that diagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I asked Marty if I could contact the witness since I was the secondary investigator on the case, and he said yes. And what really piqued my interest is that the witness checked the box that said the object had a patterned surface. And I wanted to see if it was similar to a case I investigated in 2013 of a sighting in 2004 on Highway 35 South Des Moines. Okay, now there you go. And this was that case back then. This is a painting I did to replicate the witness's description of the bottom of the triangular object she saw. And this Des Moines case was very interesting because there were 2 witnesses, a mother and a daughter. They were going to a relative's place that they'd gone to many times before. And after they saw this triangle, as she described it, having a labyrinth-like underside, so with inset lights, so that's what I drew. And the interesting thing, you've heard of lost time. These 2 women had compressed time. They arrived at their destination a half hour early. And this is they've taken this route many, many times before. So anyway, I decided, I asked the witness if he could sketch what the bottom of the craft he saw looked like, because I wanted to know if it had this labyrinth appearance of the case I investigated in 2013. And he did not do a sketch, but he sent me this. Next image. He said it looked like this a game. I wasn't familiar with it, but I guess it's a popular game of some sort. So I decided to see if I could do an acrylic painting of that 3D representation. And you'll have to pardon the crude perspective. Next image. So it's kind of a mess, but I just, this is what I think that the bottom of that craft might have looked like. And I was going to do another version of it, you know, a little better, but I just didn't have the time. So anyway, that's all for that case. Unless Marty has something else to add.
Yeah, if I may elaborate on this, and folks, I know I'm putting this out here real fast, but I've got to get to my granddaughter's softball game.
Yeah,
It's a
no problem.
championship game at this point, so I've got about 5 more minutes here, if I may. It's not like both Greg and Dave, they threw me out to the wolves. They've been very helpful with these cases that they're putting me on and so forth. My experience, I'm a retired police officer, so my experience in terms of interviewing people, it's what I thought was a piece of cake, but what it is getting the cooperation of them trying to get back with us, so they can give us, at first, when the reports come out, having information that we can go to, you know, people and their phone numbers and so forth. So, so we've already handled, right now I'm on a case out of Dallas Center, and I won't elaborate on that as I'm still investigating that. That was observed by a law enforcement officer. Obviously, we find credible, but like I said, I guess we'll be able to submit that next meeting and so forth. The Clear Lake case, it did happen a block away from the actual lake. I don't know if anybody's been to Clear Lake. It is an extremely large lake, but however, the deepest that it can get is 30 feet. So we kind of eliminated where there could be possibly no submersion or anything like that from the object. Airports and everything else, like I said, we're way back then, 2001. You know, a lot of information was not available. Let's see from my notes here, so forth. Like I said, the solar eclipse that on that day, I'm kind of surprised I didn't remember that, even though it was not, it was a partial solar eclipse, and it did happen early in the morning. And of course, it was in the lower half of the hemisphere of the where the solar eclipse actually could be observed fully. Are there any questions about this case? It's kind of a unique case since it's many moons ago.
Yeah, any questions?
How was that case closed, I might add? What was your final conclusion?
Dave, if I remember, we classify it as unknown, correct?
I think so, yeah.
I got IFF. Maybe Greg mislabeled it.
I don't know. I didn't really get
Yeah,
involved in that case of the image. Yeah.
And Terry, that's a good question. Labeled as unknown UAV. So if that means anything, but like I said, it's quite extraordinary of him actually reporting it now, and then how we condensed it down from 2007 down to 2001, and then to the actual day. Like I said, and of course, weather data. I think you can probably go back all the way to the Revolutionary War. I know that's a little exaggeration, but it was clear, and it was during the summertime. So, but I did find him credible, very enthusiastic and so forth. So I had no other choice but to classify it as that. Any other questions, folks?
Yeah, we had
How many people saw it? Just him or?
Yes. He was back there on his deck by himself, and his wife was inside. He had stated he went in real quick to get his wife, and when he came back, boom, it was gone. So at first he probably sat there for about 5 minutes watching it. And like I said, this was right around 10 o'clock in the evening. So that's a good question too. How many people saw that? But yeah, there were no other reports. especially dating back to 2001.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, one thing I just wanted to mention was in looking for familiar patterns within this type of a sighting, which I find really interesting because I've had one myself with my son in 2012. And I wondered if they mentioned that they saw anything. Can you go back to that, to your sighting there with that triangle? See along the sides there, he doesn't show any lights. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because so many of these
No.
identical sightings had lights on the side, they have them underneath, but they also have them along each side, like the one my son and I saw. And I wondered, and this is just something I'm thinking about, just an FYI for all of you. Are the lights there, but they are not turned on? I'm wondering what would be the reason that the lights would be along the sides, because our lights were massive lights all along the side in separate, like maybe 2 feet apart from each other. That's how many were on there. And my son drew a sighting of ours, as well as I drew a sighting of what we saw. We went separate places and the lights were there. I'm just curious about those lights on the ends. And nothing was ever discussed about that in this case, was it?
Terry, that's a good question. Thanks for asking. He observed this object 90 degrees right above his head. So that would give credence to where he would not be able to see the sides or on top or anything else, but he'd only be able to see underneath. So and that's the only thing I question. If he's able to watch us for 5 minutes, and it was just slowly hovering right along the lake area. And like I said, he lived about a block away from the actual beaches of the lake, and that's all he was able to see. It's just underneath it, right over his head. So
Yeah, he said it had a dark surface underneath, along with faint white pulsating lights outlining the edge of the object.
Yeah, so that just because I'm always looking for patterns or something similar, these things do move real slow, I'm sorry, but this particular type of vehicle can morph. Ours was 3 lights that morphed into this triangle, but the lights were on the triangle. Now I wondered if it's in morph mode. This is just another FYI for MUFONites as they're doing investigations on these triangles. If the lights are on, they're in secure a certain type of mode. When the lights aren't on, I'm wondering why, and if it's that same type of vehicle. Then my other question is, and again, just FYI, are they ours? Are they theirs? What distinguishes ours from theirs? I know we have them as well as they have them. We have created them from what has been seen before our creations way back. And it's just interesting to me, the whole thing is such an interesting study.
It was a rectangle, not a triangle.
yeah, right. It was like a rectangular shape. So
It's not a triangle. That
no,
looks
it's not.
triangle to me.
Well, this is like from another case that's like similar. or
Yeah,
something.
this is from another case. Yeah.
Everybody.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, we got a lot of different things going on with this case.
Yeah, I came in late, sorry.
Ship.
Yeah. The actual one was, well, it's 2 different cases here that we're talking about. So that's, easy to get confused. James, you have a question?
Yes. On the case number 48965, what time of the day was it? And was it on a Saturday?
I don't know anymore. All I know is it was a daylight sighting. So, yeah.
Could it have been at a college game with a flyover of the B-2 bomber?
I don't think so.
When we would see them here with the chiefs, if you're not exactly know what you're looking at, you'd swear to God it was a UFO.
Yeah. No, this was very low. Just maybe, if my memory serves me, just maybe 50 feet above the ground, so.
Okay, so 137042 is actually your next slide. This is case 48965. I
Yeah,
got
so-
it now.
Well,
Got it
yeah,
now.
we put the case that we're discussing at the top, and then if there's like images, then they go below, so we have like different
Got
images with each case.
So that's more of
This-
what that's actually 1372. Okay,
Yeah, this would have
Yeah,
been
that's-
more
yeah.
what the bottom looked like, yeah.
I just want to throw out, Marty, if you have to run, go ahead. You don't have to stay in here.
Yeah, yes, I do. Folks, I really apologize because, this is good stuff. I'm also learning from you folks too. So like I said, I'm getting ready to get boosted up to Field Investigator 2, which would be, which would be even more educational of all so thank you very much. Also, Dave has a pretty good case here that we're on. It's a Dyersville, and of course he'll present that. And that's some good stuff too. Folks, thank you, I appreciate it. I'm gonna leave here now and hopefully see you next time, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Yay, yay. Thank you, folks. Bye-bye. Thank you, Dave.
All right, we have any more questions? Tamara, did you had something, no? It's already answered, okay. All right, well, we'll go back to Dave's
Yes, to
other case.
Dyersville.
All right, and tell me when
Yeah.
you want to move forward on these.
Okay, I'll tell you when to put the images up, so, okay, on June 3rd, this is a landing case that Marty and I investigated. And on June 3rd, at about 10:30 a.m., a rural Dyersville, Iowa witness spotted a shiny silver spherical object in a cornfield that appeared to be on the ground. Next image. Okay. Field investigator Marty and I traveled to the witness's home about 2.5 miles north of Dyersville, Iowa on June 6th, just 3 days after the sighting. We conducted an interview and an investigation. I gave Marty very short notice about this, and I was really glad that he could join us because it was about a 2-hour drive for each of us. And so you can do the next image, please. Marty and I traversed the nearly 1 mile long pothole-laden lane in our separate vehicles, eventually finding ourselves on the front porch of a very nice woman living in a house built in the 1800s as we listened to the horrific squeals emanating from the hog confinement shed and smelling the stench coming from a bloated carcass of a hog less than 200 feet away. We knew that we had arrived in deepest, darkest Iowa. And I grew up on a farm, so I felt right at home, but we didn't have confinement sheds then. Anyway, the witness said that she looked out from her porch window and saw a bright, reflective spherical object. She grabbed her binoculars and walked out onto her porch to get a better view. It was still there. She then went back inside to grab her cell phone and took 2 zoomed in photos, which she included in her CMS report. After she took the photos, she looked down for just a few seconds. And when she looked back up, the object had disappeared. And next image, please. And this is a magnification of what she saw. And it looks irregular, but I think that's because of pixelation. So the witness who lived on the farm property for about 2 years said that the sighting was very emotional for her, and she was extremely interested in finding out what the object was. So she decided to file a report with MUFON. The witness was very astute, cordial, and did not try to embellish. Using a printed out image of her photo, investigator Marty and I were able to locate within just a few feet the location of that object. One of our speculation was that it might have been a balloon. Since the object had disappeared in just seconds after the witness looked away, we thought it might have popped. But in a thorough search of the area, we did not find any remnants of a deflated balloon. And I wanted to get an idea of the size of the object, so I instructed the witness to take a photo of Marty and I at the same location of the object she had photographed just days before from her porch, using the same phone camera and zoom setting. And here's the comparison. Next image, please. So there you can see us, Beavis and Butthead, out on the looking around on the right there. And to the left, you can see the object. It's very faint. So it's kind of crude estimation, but I estimated the size of the object utilizing this comparison in size of us and the object, that it was maybe about 1.5 to 2 feet in diameter. And by the way, there was a 12-mile-per-hour south wind coming during her sighting. And if it were a balloon, you would expect it to be moving, bobbing around. The corn was only 6 inches high at that time. And it was there, I think she said, I think it was like 4 or 5 minutes she observed it altogether. We scoured the area in the cornfield for approximately 45 minutes in an attempt to find any evidence that the object, might have left behind, but we found nothing. We had some instruments out there, like meters and so on, EMF meters. And it's possible that the object never landed, but just hovered just above the ground. And after a really on-site investigation and lengthy interviews with the witness, we could find no conventional explanation for the object in question. And so we assigned it a disposition of unknown other. Any questions?
Did they say that it take off? How to leave after it got there?
She never saw it come, and she never saw it go. She looked away after viewing it for several minutes, she looked away I think she just said she looked down at her camera for a second, looked back up, and it was gone.
Yeah, go ahead, James.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, James.
Okay, James Bear in Kansas City. Were you able to pull up a drone and look at it from a visual point of view from top of that circle?
No, didn't have a drone.
Were you able to take radiation readings over the circle?
Yeah. I took electromagnetic and electric readings. Yeah. Electric field readings, I should say. Yep.
Did you have
and we couldn't find, pardon me?
Were you able to take a radiation reading?
Oh, like ionized radiation? No, I didn't have an instrument like that. I just had an EMF.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Instrument. So I just
Thank
measured.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those sightings that you do have seem to leave behind, radiation or something that you can detect. I'm guessing you didn't take any soil samples or anything.
No, because we just couldn't find any evidence at all. There's nothing no disturbances on the ground. There's no corn that was squashed down or anything like that, so.
Yeah, so unless you want to take a
Yeah.
soil sample
Yeah.
like, 20 feet, every foot or something, how you gonna get the location, huh?
We probably could have done that, I didn't.
All right, any other questions? We'll go on to the next case, which is up to Keen. You wanna come up? All right, thank you, Dave.
Mhm.
Mark over here so they can hear me.
Yeah, that works for you. Sorry, I got cables and stuff all over the place. You can just sit here.
Okay.
Watch it.
Okay, this is 137076. And on June 1st, 2024, at 10:20 PM, the witness was sitting on the ground floor of the porch of his apartment when he observed an object appear in the northern sky approximately 35 degrees above the horizon. He watched it travel to the southeast for approximately a minute and a half when another object appeared from the same initial position, traveling the same direction. This repeated for 12 to 13 objects. Total time of sighting was approximately 15 minutes, and he believes the objects were suborbital, but at high altitude. And he reports that the sky was clear, no clouds, so the case is closed as an unknown UAV. How do I move to that? Well, where'd he go?
The next slide.
Yeah, next slide. That goes wrong. That goes that way.
Okay.
Okay, and this is,
Did you look up and see if there was a Starlink location for recent launches?
Starlinks are, I didn't account for that because Starlinks are closer together in a chain.
Yeah.
And he'd see more than one at a time. Okay, this is the next case, 137263.
No.
Where are you going? On June 14th, 2024, at 10:36 a.m. in Kelowna, Iowa, the witness was gardening when she saw what would appear to be a tic-tac shaped object in the sky. Witness was facing east. She took the video with an iPhone 13, and she reports that the object hovered before it dropped out and disappeared. Upon reviewing the video, I believe the witness recorded an aircraft traveling from west to east. The jet was flying just high enough for the wings to be blended into the skyline. Case was closed as an IFO man-made.
So do you got, you said you have flight radar at 24 still?
Yeah, we've got, that might be in there too. Yeah, here's the
craft.
the only aircraft that was in the area. Okay, that's all I've got.
Thank you, Keen.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, sorry. I got some UFO books and some brochures. All right. Yeah, we have some more stuff we can go over on here, but I'll probably, since we're already at the past 11 here, if you don't mind, we just do our cases next. I wanted to hand it over to Teri to go over her reptilian case that I heard about on the state directors meeting. The second I heard about it, I'm like, I've never heard anything about this. This should be big news, and nobody's talking about it. So I reached out to her, and she was kind enough to say she would present some of it here at this meeting. So if does this work for you, Teri?
Sure, yeah. I've spoken at the MUFON symposiums. I've been on George Norrie 4 times, or at least 4 anyway. I don't know. I can't remember if I did a 5th, but I've been on a lot of media sites, and I speak once a week, sometimes twice, all over the world. I've recently done Germany and China and Taiwan, Japan, different places where people are studying all of this and looking at the alien hybrid and the healing situation, which I actually had in 2012. And I can go through a very quick, can I share my screen and I can go through a real quick presentation?
Yeah, it should be open. If not,
Okay.
I'll mess with it.
Okay, let's see. Is my screen up?
Yep.
Okay. So at the MUFON symposium, I had talked about this, and I guess it was 2 years ago. I can't remember now. I've been in so many different places, but anyway, this happened after 2 surgeries that I had in 2000, and 12 years later, I was actually healed. So I'll go through it really quickly because I know you're all on a time frame there, and it's a Saturday. So
we're probably got time.
Okay, well, I'll go through it pretty quickly. Let's see. For me to actually get this to work, I think I hit my space bar. There you go. Yeah. So I called it the supernatural extraterrestrial healing and regeneration. And so this, like I said, I've had 70 years of extraterrestrial interactions in my family. So I'm a family line person who has had a lot of really strange things happen, and UFOs has been one of them. Some of these, I won't go through all of this. My oldest brother, who has passed away just recently, was an experiencer at 9 years old, which I never knew because he lived in Miami and I lived in St. Petersburg. He was from my mother's first marriage, and I had not really met him until I got involved in MUFON. And he came and shared at one of my MUFON meetings what had happened to him. I have that on video. It's really great. Of course, I never knew any of it until, like I said, was maybe 2015 when I met him in Melbourne. My mother, and his experience, by the way, was in the 1940s. And my mother's was in the 1960s while she would live on her houseboat. That's her houseboat there. And her husband is on that back deck there. They would rent their house out for 3 months of the year, and they would live on that boat. And they saw so many ISOs, it wasn't even funny. And then in 1979, I actually saw what you see right there is a recreation of how that happened. I saw a craft coming home late one night, and it hovered over the railroad tracks. But what you cannot see is that there was another one to the right. There was one that was landed that night over to the right in that big field running by the railroad tracks. And then in 2012, as you see, there's that triangle I was talking about with you all that had the lights that we saw morph from 3 separate lights that were hovered over Tampa Bay while we were going over a bridge. And they morphed as the 3 lights were right there going down into the lake. And my son and I saw it, but no one else really did. So it was quite amazing that people can actually see things right in front of them, and others can't. So, you know, the way that the extraterrestrials work are they very much will reveal to someone and not everyone. And I find that absolutely amazing. So I'm going to skip all this what if and go down to the different things that can happen. And because this is really about a 2-hour presentation, so I don't want to go through all of this. But many people have had all different types of exposures from all different forms of extraterrestrials. And I've seen different types. Bud Hopkins has written about healings, and the Katharina Wilson case. But mine happened in my own bedroom while I was sleeping one evening back in 2012, after having had a debilitating pain from a surgery I had in 2000 that was getting ready to turn into cancer. And they told me I would die if I literally didn't get this done. So I had the surgery. After the first surgery, I was in so much pain. It was almost unbearable. And so I went in for a second surgery, which made it worse. So I won't go into too much more about that. But anyway, this is my personal healing experience and what happened to me. And I'm just going to go through a lot of this. Like I said, I don't want to bore people with all this, but I have had different experiences where I have seen aliens, the grays. And like I said, in 2000 is when I had that. There's the large intestine. I ended up having to have a subtotal colectomy, which is removing that whole large intestine. It was heavily diseased in the areas that are red. So they hooked me up to my small intestine. And there was problems in the surgery. I was in it for 8.5 hours. And I had a slight bleed. They couldn't tell what the bleed was, which is what I guess eventually was causing all my pain. And so I went back for a second surgery, which again was a very long surgery, and it was really horrible. And I wasn't better after that second surgery. So I just decided that I would be okay. I would just move forward and live with my pain, which is exactly what I did. And so after praying about it, knowing I was going to have to live like this, I wasn't healed, through my faith, which I'm a strong Christian, and I just wanted it over, but it still was hanging on there for, 12 years later. So in 2012, I went to bed that night, and I heard a voice call my name. And as I turned over, this is what I saw. I saw this, and this is different artist renditions of the reptilian that I had seen in my bedroom. Some of them I paid very much money for. And I tried to explain to each one of them how there was so much black around the eyes and a little bit of red in that looked like dried blood. And as you can see, that's what I said, but everybody drew red. And I'm like, okay. So sometimes when you're trying to tell your story and you're trying to explain something that an artist has never seen himself, and he can't relate to just what you're telling him, I told him that it looked like a reptilian hybrid. It had a very strong face. It had all these different colors. It had big, huge jowls, and it had dark circles around its eyes it looked like a red type of coloring around its eyes. And it did not have a long snout. It had a more sharp, shorter snout. I tried to tell them about the colors and everything that was happening to me, and how this, he introduced a wand to me, and in that wand, I was absolutely shocked. He had little scales on him that had tiny hairs. Excuse me while I just get a drink. And it was very hard to see all this, but yet I could see it. It was almost as if he was allowing me to see it more so than I probably should have been able to see it, which doesn't make a bit of sense to me. But anyway, that's how it happened. And he presented this, and there's a rendition of this surgical instrument. And on the one end, on the right end of it, it had a coiled fern-like type of look to it that was so freaky. It was so frightening to me. I was absolutely shocked. And just like those ferns are moving independently, it was moving independently of the other side, on the left side, which had like a suction tip on it. And this thing was just absolutely bizarre. It was bizarre and shocking. And I had no idea what that was all about. He held it in a hand that was clawed. He had a clawed hand. And he had big, the only way I could describe the nails on his hands was like a big dog, you know, that has those large black, almost like a talon, you know. So he didn't have fingers, he had more of a claw, and yet he gripped this thing, and it resembled very much a octopus's talon, you know, their talons. And I thought, that is so odd. It has these suction cups on it. The whole thing was bizarre. And, you know, I was in fear. I didn't know what he was going to do. He spoke to me once after I saw him and was shocked. He spoke to me and simply said, "Be still," which is when he inserted that into me. And I have this here for people to see what the octopus's tentacle actually looks like and how it moves and it curls. I wanted people to see that real spindly long end. This one was like that spindly long end, but it was very, very thin and very long and darker than, you know, the red color that is. But there were so many different colors on this hybrid. He had yellows, he had greens, he had some red, he had black. He was very different, and he was only 4 feet tall. And he was right there, you know, inches away from me when this happened. And in the process of what was happening to me, after he said, "Be still," the coil part went into my body and wrapped around the area that was so sensitive and so painful inside of my body. The other side that had like a suction cup at the end attached to the outer portion of my body and was very firmly holding this whole thing in place. I was so scared, so freaked out. I brought my hands up to my eyes because all I could think of was, I started feeling a vibration. It was getting tighter. I was feeling pressure. The vibration was this constant vibration. I felt heat that was coming on. It was a very strange kind of a heat. You could feel it, but it didn't burn you, but it was ever present. It never left. Once I started feeling it through the vibration, it was just there, and I endured through it. I didn't know what to think, but the pressure was the thing that was so bad, and the vibration was getting more harsh, and the pressure was so bad. I literally had my hands up. I drew my hands up to my eyes and covered my eyes and was just imagining my insides exploding when he kept pushing down, down, down on this very sore area in my abdomen, where I had been having that pain for so many years. And I thought, oh my God, it's gonna burst, and there's gonna be a bloodbath all over this bed. There's gonna be blood everywhere. And I was quite frightened. I didn't know, you know, what to make of that. And I don't know how long that actually happened, because I have no time frame of any of this. My husband was in bed with me. He was sleeping. He never woke up. I never heard him. And so it was really pretty bizarre, all in all. And so after, I don't know how long, I was convinced it was going to blow. And then all of a sudden, with my eyes closed and my hands up to my face, I could feel a lessening of the heat and the pressure, but not the vibration. The vibration was there through the whole thing. And oddly enough, as I go forward in this, you'll find out it lasted quite a long time. When I got up that next morning, I immediately called my girlfriends in Florida because I was a MUFON assistant state director. And I called Kathleen Martin, I called Denise Stoner, I told them what had happened to me, and I had asked them, you know, what they thought it could have been. And they asked me a lot of questions. They told me that I wasn't acting normal, that I needed to relax for a minute, that did I get any type of swab? Did I get anything that would identify what had happened to me? And I said, no, you know, I was so shocked. I probably was literally walking around after this happened, after I got out of bed, and was in total shock. And I told them about everything. I didn't get up right away. I laid in that bed before I got up, before I told them about it. It was almost like I was in some type of an anesthetic lull. I couldn't get up. And I think the vibration, as I look back now, years later, could have been part of something that they had left behind with me to keep me still for the length of time. I laid in that bed for a very long time. And so Denise said, well, Teri, you know, this is so bizarre. I want you to go get a swab and get a sample internally so that if there was any type of DNA or anything, we would have it. And I said, okay. I'm a certified field investigator at the time, and I didn't realize I needed to do that. That's how much in shock I actually was. I wasn't functioning properly. I wasn't able to concentrate and do what I knew to do. It was bizarre that I called them, but I was so freaked out I didn't know who to talk to, so I called them. And so I did get the swab, and she told me just put it in a plastic bag, throw it in your freezer, and when we can find a lab or somebody that can take a look at this, then we'll have it. And I said, okay, so I did that. And it was 7 years later that Debbie Ziegelmeyer, who was on the board of directors with me, I was now a state director and on the board. I was a Florida state director. I was on board with MUFON. And Debbie called me and said, hey, Teri, somebody was talking about your case, and they had said that you had gotten a sample. And I said, yes, I did. And she said, could you send it to me here at the Missouri lab? Lynn Mann was now there, and she wanted to see about, looking at it. And so she sent many letters for me to sign for release. She sent a protocol to get my actual DNA, and then she had a protocol to send the swab so that it wasn't touched. And I am a sterilization tech. I have a degree in radiology, and I'm also sterilization. And so I knew, how to do this. And she showed me through online thing with her how to follow through on it. So I did exactly what she requested, and I sent it off to the lab. And it was the MUFON lab, and Lynn Mann is our chief laboratory analysis. She is a investigator, and there is a picture of the DNA transport kit that she sent me. And so this is what our people will do when we have any forms of contact or sightings where we can get some type of proof, you know, she'll send out these DNA transport kits so that we can take, I'm kind of, all these thoughts are coming to my mind, so that we can get examples to send to the lab to be certified by her. Sorry. So I had sent her my swab. She cut it into a little piece of it off and said, wow, she said, has this been in your freezer the whole time? And I said, yes, I haven't even touched it. You know, I don't touch that thing. It's just back there behind all the frozen foods. And she said, this is amazing, Teri. This thing is loaded with red blood cells, lots of them. And I said, oh, okay. And she said, I'm surprised that they're still so strong. And she said, but something even more bizarre. It looks like you had some kind of an accident. And I said, no, I didn't have an accident at all. I said, I had an experience that happened and I was being squeezed and I kept thinking blood was going to shoot everywhere from the pressure and the vibration. And she said, well, obviously you've captured this and it's very rare. And I said, oh, okay. You know, I didn't know. I don't know about lab stuff, you know. And so after that, she started her DNA search with other fellows in that field as well. And she called me and told me, I am, as well as my fellows, all very interested in cutting another piece of your swab from the tip of this. And I said, okay, whatever will serve humanity, whatever is best for MUFON and for all of us to figure out what this was. And I said, I can tell you what I saw. And I did. So she asked me to tell me the whole thing and I shared my whole story with her. And so she cut another piece of it. And she continued to do all these tests at the lab there. And she came up with a match. And it was the giant tegu lizard, which was from South America. And if you look at this lizard, he comes in reds, yellows, blacks, greens. He has all different colors. And I saw a hybrid with all those colors. And as she was finding out that this particular genotype was on my swab, and I thought, how in the heck could a tegu lizard be on my swab, other than it must have some association with what I saw that night? So these were the figures that she did. And I do have, let's see, I don't know if I can find the ones that talk about what these swabs were in each cell. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Because I don't know the names of the figure 1 slab versus the figure 2. These are just all, let's just say they're swab cells before processing. And so she processed them all. And this is how she did it, using all these different forms in the lab. And like I said, I don't know much about labs. So this was the rest of the swab DNA. She had called me. This was from Lynn Mann. Kathy Martin was involved with this with me. And she said, Teri, my research has turned up a warm-blooded South American lizard species that has several genes like humans, and not only is it the only warm-blooded reptile they know of, it can control its body temperature. I have worked out an experiment to test this lizard DNA against the rest of the swab DNA, but I need your permission to use the last of it. I have also found a herpetologist that will collect samples and send them. If this comes up a match to the lizard, not only will it find your healer was as you saw him, but possibly that reptilians come from Earth or a planet very much like it. think it over and get back to me soon as you can, Lynn. So I did. I went ahead and got back to her and said, absolutely, go ahead and use the rest of it. Let's just do whatever it is that we have to do, Lynn, to find out what's going on here. So this is the agarose, this is the 2%, this is the e-gel electrophoresis result that she got in the lab of my swab, my saliva, and my DNA ladder position, because she had me, spit into a thing so she could, determine my DNA from the other DNA that was on the lab. And this is one of the things that she used. It's a UV light, and it's a Quick Gene Mini 80. And this is what they use in the process of finding out different things on the swab. And she tested so many different things to see what might be somewhat associated to what was on my swab. And if you look at the top, it says gaps, it says tegu lizard, and you can look all the way across and it mimicked what was on my swab. Then you go down, she took another lizard and there was only a couple. Then she took a dragon lizard, nothing. She took an Asian glass lizard, less still, a Burmese python, a boa, a common gardener snake, nothing, common viper, nothing, brown spotted pit viper, a little, Japanese gecko, a little, American alligator, nothing, chicken, nothing, green sea turtle, Chinese soft-shelled turtle, human, and mouse. She used it against all these different things. And if you look at the top, that tegu lizard, what was also on my swab. And here was my human match, and here was the tegu match that was on my swab. Now, I think extraterrestrials are very aware of what needs to be sent when something is being healed or someone is being healed. This is the gel of the tegu and human comparison from my swab DNA. Then she came up with the tegu Salvatore lizard family as a possible distant evolutionary relative of the humanoid reptilian. And I want to point out how shocked I was when I saw the size of the jowls that these guys had, because that was something I reported. The jowls were just ridiculously large. It was like it had fat cheeks, and the colors were odd, and they come in many different colors. And if you look, they have a circle around the eye that stands out. It's kind of white on some, it's kind of black on the others. And on one, it is actually dark. Is there a thing up on the screen that's preventing you from seeing these films?
No, we can see them.
Oh, okay, because I'm seeing the screen share thing.
Oh, yeah, no, it's on your side, yeah.
It's on my side. I'm going to try to move it. Oh, okay, good. I just moved it. Okay, so her conclusion was, at the beginning of the testing of the trace material for the forensic report done in this laboratory for MUFON of Missouri, the intention was to test for DNA present and file a report with the, I can't see some of that, with the witness and the headquarters of MUFON as per usual. Having found the witness's DNA on the sample swab and lacking access to any actual alien DNA, should it exist, I, for the first time, began researching what reptilian present on this planet might be close to having any part of its genome similar to humanoid. What I found was the giant tegu Salvatore marionette. The resulting marionette human and lizard DNA on the trace swab was a wonderful revelation to the analyst and to the witness. Never before, to our knowledge, has a trace sample matched a set of witness account well as this does. Even with the apparent lesser signal seen on the lizard gel, the potential for further study to be repeated with success on further samples of this type is high, it is for the reason the witness and study partners involved feel that this result should be published. So a paper was actually published in reference to this finding. And so, let's see, I guess I have to hit that. It doesn't seem to want to go. Oh, there we go. So I very quickly put a little book together for those people who were interested. And it was just simply called Alien Healing, the true story of a benevolent extraterrestrial, because they seem to always have such a negative rap. And I'm sure that some of them are. I mean, I don't know, you know, I've never had a negative experience in my life with any of the extraterrestrials I've ever been involved with. But this particular hybrid, I saw no mouth. And now that I look at the tegu, I can see why I saw no mouth. It's hard to see the mouth. It all seems to kind of be hidden in the way the jaw lays. You know, if there was a mouth, I didn't see one. If there were nostrils, I didn't see them. And I reported that. I didn't see ears. I didn't see anything other than these huge jowls and these circles around the eyes, that black kind of circle with mine had red. And of course, this was a hybrid, so it was something different. And in I believe it was 2019 that this came out, Novartis researchers are inspired by these wild survival artists, which are the cartilage from the octopuses and their tentacles. They are now being used to regenerate tissue in the human body. And imagine my shock. This I reported in 2012 when everybody laughed at me. And I took that picture because if you look at how that little point curls, that's exactly what I saw, but it was much, much thinner than that, much thinner than that. It was very strange looking, but now our doctors are utilizing this cartilage and to treat osteoarthritis. I just find that that is absolutely shocking. And here I reported it and no one believed me in 2012.
On this one, we can't hear the audio.
You can't hear it?
No, yeah, you have to share audio when you share your screen. So yeah, it's not coming through for us.
Oh, okay. This is Mr. Grush saying in front of, you know, these folks that there are crashed crafts and they do get bodies. And he's confirming that biologics have been found. A lot of people have their thoughts about this, but nevertheless, they're talking about there's knowledge about it. And we know that there are other people who have seen Fallen, the Roswell experience, Kathy Martin's aunt and uncle. And this was the Air Force veteran talking to him. We're definitely not alone. And he's saying that we've recovered something and there were biologics found. So extraterrestrials are very real. It is true, and we all know that it is, and he said it in public to everybody on the news that it is true. So we're finding out more now through a very light form of disclosure, and I believe it's going to actually heat up now that we're in 2024 in the future. And I don't know what all we might find about it, but I don't think that there's anything that causes any of us to really have great concern. If they wanted to kill us or do anything to us, they'd have done it by now. I don't believe that we have to worry too much about any of that. But at any rate, that was what had happened. That's how I got my DNA information. I submitted it to our MUFON lab, and I trust Lynn very much, for it. I want to thank everybody for, listening to this. I hope I didn't take too long. I know that you guys it's almost 12 o'clock and you wanted to end at 12.
did
So
just
I
fine.
kind of ran through it. I skipped a lot, but let me stop my sharing now. There we go. So anyway, like I said, that was a 2-hour presentation with a whole lot of information that I didn't bring forth, but
yeah, thank you for presenting it, and we'll do a round of applause.
if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, we'll do a few questions. We have a couple other things before we end out the meeting here, but yeah, I mean, the main thing I wanted to hear about was the DNA, because like we haven't heard anything. Well, I personally haven't heard anything about MUFON Lab getting DNA, doing research, publishing this. There's a paper published on this, or?
Yes, there are more than one papers published on this, and
Maybe
you would have to
MUFON Journal, or have you, Roger? I know you read those.
Yeah, it's been in the MUFON Journal 2 times, and I guess you just haven't read all your journals, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't keep up too much.
Back, it was like 2015 and 16, so it was way back.
2015 and 16. Okay, that was a little bit. That was before
Yeah.
I was director, so it's out of my.
Yeah, and then I spoke at the MUFON Symposium on it and presented a bigger presentation than that, but very similar. That's kind of the lesser presentation.
Yeah, usually I figure if something comes out, people tell me about it, and then I look it up right away. It's usually like a published paper or something.
Well, when T.L. Keller wrote about it in the MUFON Journal back when he did, he used a fictitious name. He didn't want to startle anybody. And only I guess the people who really knew me and the ERT people would have known that it was me if they were older ERT people, because they all were very interested in the case. I presented to the ERT and others. So we have this information at our fingertips,
What was your question?
She used a hot swab. What did she swab, the bed or the chair, or what location in the
Oh, Fred is asking what location did you swab? I think it was herself, right? You swabbed.
It was a vaginal swab. Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
Was it published in like a white paper?
Was it published in a white paper or like somewhere else?
You'll have to ask the lab actually. Well, our lab actually right now. I'm assuming it was a white paper, and I know that she published it. I never got a copy of the published paper. I didn't even really ask for one. I'm not trying to make myself known or make any money out of it. I mean, all I did was report what happened, and that was the end of it. I never liked how they treat people that come forth with information like this. They usually, think there's something wrong with you or whatever. And, and then they make fun of you, of course, because this happened. And I mean, some people were like, oh, how could you have endured it? Well, have you ever had a car accident? You endure it. Okay. Whatever you go through in life, you endure. Have you ever been in a burning house? You endure those things. It may be shocking, it may be frightening, it may be horrifying, and but you endure it and you move on. I just didn't want a lot of the naysayers and the unbelievers and the uneducated to harass me. So I was like, I'm just going to tell the truth and leave it there.
Yeah.
Miss Teri, if the pain went away instantly after she had the experience?
Did the pain go away after the experience?
Absolutely. I was totally healed. Oh, and of course, in telling that whole story and moving so quickly, I meant to say when I got up, after I got up and called both
Denise?
Kathy and Denise, I was telling them, I don't have any pain. The pain is gone. And I actually took my fist and was hitting my stomach where that pain was for 12 years. And I had zero pain. And it was so bizarre because being a strong Christian, you know, that was a conundrum for me. You know, how does anybody heal us other than God himself? And I thought, well, you know, obviously there was technology in that wand that he had, and that technology is what healed me. And then that very same technology came out many years later. And, you know, papers were published that they're using the technology of the, I can't think of the name of it.
Was it that octopus thing?
Octopus, thank you. You know, oh my God, I'm so tired. I was up till, I don't know how late last night. I haven't had much sleep, but
Oh, sorry.
you know, it's okay. I had some other stuff to do that had to get done, deadlines. So anyway, yeah.
What was your question?
Do you have any other medical ultrasounds or anything?
Do you have any other medical ultrasounds or anything before or after?
After.
After.
No, because this happened 12 years after the surgeries, and the doctor that did my surgery at Tampa General wasn't there. And so I didn't want to just go back to somebody. And remember, I've never told anybody in the medical world, well, no, because you didn't hear the whole story. I've never discussed it with anybody in the medical world because what are you going to say? You know, there was one point when I was talking to Kathy, and I had said, Kathy, I'm going to go to the hospital. This vibration is still going on. Oh, that's another thing I didn't tell you because I didn't show you the whole thing. The vibration lasted for 9 hours. And 9 hours later, it just stopped. And Kathy and Denise were on the phone with me throughout that day. Has it stopped yet? Has it stopped yet? No. You know, and I was really getting worried. So I said to Kathy, I'm going to go ahead and go down to St. Anthony's. It's only, you know, a mile down the road from me. And, and she said, Teri, you can't go to St. Anthony's. And I said, well, why couldn't I? And she said, what are you going to tell them? You know, what are you going to tell them? You had a hybrid at the side of your bed last night, and it's a reptilian, and he had a wand that looked like, you know, an octopus tentacle. She said, is that what you're going to tell them? And I said, well, yeah, I'd have to tell the truth. And she said, Teri, don't go to the hospital.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just stayed at home.
Up in another hospital after that.
Yeah, with a white jacket, and I think, yeah. So padded walls. So I thought, okay, I never did discuss it. That's the only reason why I had never gone back for any other form of testing. Although I've not really been ever sick, you know, until I got COVID for a week, and that was it. You know, I just never really was sick and went back to even the doctor. So, yeah.
When did the alien leave is the next question.
When I had opened my eyes, he was gone. I should have just done the whole darn thing. Okay.
I'm sorry. We only had so much time.
No, it's okay. I really felt you guys were on a limited amount of time, and I had to just throw all this out to you. When I was sitting there thinking that this thing was going to explode, and I had my hands up to my face, and I was so frightened, and I was sure there was going to be a bloodbath. I felt it getting less and less and less. And I sat there for I don't know how long. And then I opened my eyes and he was gone. And I thought to myself, okay, that is so bizarre. You've got to be kidding me. And I laid down. And I laid there literally for about 3 to 4 hours. I could not move. And that's why I was saying it felt like the anesthesia was in that vibration or something. I could not get up. I kept wanting to get up. My husband got up, went to work, everything. I heard all that. I still didn't get up. And finally, when I did, that's when I knew I wasn't hurting. But I called Kathy and Denise right away and told them about the whole thing. And that's when they said to me, I think you're in shock, you know, why didn't you get a swab? Why didn't you check the sheets? Why didn't you keep the sheets? You know, and I thought, oh, I don't know. You know, I don't even know why. I don't know why. And I'm a certified field investigator. But when these things happen to you, let me just tell you, it It's so horrifying. It is so frightening. It is so otherworldly and strange. Bizarre doesn't even touch it, you know. It's hard to wrap your mind around what your next step is and what you're going to do and who you're going to talk to and how you're going to feel about it, you know, because you've got to get up and still function. Your day is still in front of you. And mine was so bizarre. I wasn't doing well. I truly think I was in shock for many hours in that day. That's how freaked out I was.
Maybe last question.
Do you have any sense of how long the reptilian was actually there?
Do you have any sense of how long the reptilian was actually there?
You know, I want to say it was like a half hour. It's what I'm thinking. From the time I woke up and rolled over when I heard him call my name, I spent so much time looking at him, and I noticed he was staring at me the entire time. He didn't move. He just stood there and let me look at him. And I made all these mental notes, and then when it finally ended was when I looked right up and looked in his eye and was so freaked out, and he said, "Be still." And I thought, am I not being still? You know, I thought, what's happening? You know, obviously I was moving around or something. But I don't recall it. So was it missing time? Possibly. I don't say that I had missing time because I can't be sure. There was no way to have identified how much time, missing time, or what actually happened, but he did tell me to be still. And that was it. And the curly side was what was inserted into me, which wrapped itself very, very quickly around that area. And the pressure, the vibration, and the heat started immediately. And maybe that's their way of, you know, anesthesia. I don't know. You know, I'm assuming so.
All right.
But
Well,
thank you so very much. I appreciate your time.
yeah, thank you
Thanks,
again
Teri.
for the questions and everything. And thanks for coming to the meeting and all. So.
Yeah.
Sure. If anybody has any other questions, they can always just reach out to me at dom@mufon.com.
Yeah. Yeah, or email me and I can get the questions out there. I am contacting the MUFON lab, see if they want to check our DNA sample for the chupacabra stuff we have. So maybe that'll be a
Ooh.
similar reptilian thing. If they can do a DNA sample that far back, you know, some people say they can, some can't, so I'll get confirmation from the lab. And then I'll also ask about the research paper that they published or whatever.
Thank you. I do want to tell you that Lynn Mann has had a very long and difficult back surgery. And so she is not active in the lab, but if you send a link, let me know if you do hear back from her in a timely manner. I don't know how all that is going right now. I know she's been down for about 2 weeks now.
Okay.
And they said it may be months because of, you know, she can barely get up. I think they said she was in a halo kind of a cage. So she's very limited at what she can actually do right now.
All right, yeah, I'll send well, I'm just looking for information, so
Yeah.
I'll send it, you know, email and see if we get back. But all right, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thanks.
All right, I can move that one and go back to us. And we'll be going, is it Pixie?
Yeah, Leah. My
Leah.
page is Pixie Sphere.
Pixie Sphere, okay. I'll let you get up and introduce yourself and what you want to do and yeah, talk about, you didn't bring anything to this week, but maybe, yeah, an example. But yeah, go ahead. You can just sit here.
Okay.
And then if he wants to get up kind of in front of the camera there. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Leah.
Yeah, I'll just keep going. All right.
Yeah, so I'm an artist. I make a lot of different types of art. I do pottery and I make shirts and tapestries and so these are a few shirts that I've made. They're reverse tie-dye type shirts that I make. I make stencils and then I use bleach to stain them. So these are a few shirts that I've made. This is a digital one that I made. So is it all of them? Oh,
And then, here's Jimmy. This is a shirt that I made for him. So yeah, I make different types of art and I'm selling these shirts right now for $20 each. My page is Pixie Sphere. So if anybody's interested in getting custom art done, you can come to my page and send me a message. Or you can text me or email me. My phone number is 402-660-4850. I'm probably gonna be at the next meeting, so if anybody's interested in purchasing anything, then just let me know. I'm not.
All right, do you ship them to people or? do you
Yeah,
only
I can
will-
ship, I can ship
Okay.
to anywhere.
Oh, cool stuff. Any questions for her? Not, then we're here. I don't know your name, but
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm just the librarian here on Saturday. I'm just gonna give you guys a little extra information about our Library Friends program. We'll have some brochures for you over there, so you can kind of fill in whatever I might leave out.
you come this way just a little bit.
Sure.
My microphone's.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know I was being picked up.
No, no problem.
All right. So before I go into the Friends program, so just as community members, everyone here automatically has access to our spaces here. Other than, of course, our study rooms, those are reserved for UNO students, staff, faculty, active. So you can come here and study, you know, work on anything you've got, just crack a book completely free. So I mentioned that. We also, as you reminded me, we have a great piece of tech over there by the main service desk in our overhead scanner. So again, don't need to pay a thing. You can get books off the 3rd floor, go over there, make scans. I think we like to keep it within copyright guidelines, so no more than 1 chapter at a time from a work, no more than 10% of a given work, but again, that's free, so.
Yeah, so I've used that. The special thing about that is that it goes from, if you have a book or something, or, you know, even like a newspaper or something, when you scan it, it goes to a digital copy. Doesn't like print out like a paper copy. So like having digital copies of stuff is pretty useful. And I've used it for like I do, you know, native plant stuff. And if you know, it's good to have like a digital copy of that stuff because there's not a lot out there and the paper copies seem to disappear and stuff like that. So yeah, I've come and used that, you know, quite a bit.
And it's very easy to use too. You can make your scan with it. It'll give you in a little side panel all of your scans. You deliver it and you can bring your own flash drive, immediately puts the scans on there. You can even email it to yourself from that computer. So you could come with absolutely nothing and leave today with as many scans from as many different things you find on that 3rd floor.
Start scanning those crop circles.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing is it's completely free. You don't have to, you know, if you're printing stuff, it costs money, but if you're just making a digital copy.
Very valuable resource. And then another thing, unfortunately not free, but I would also recommend checking out the production lab when they're open during the week, primarily Monday through Thursday. They do charge, I think, standard rates, but if you, I want to say, and I would need confirmation for this, but I think if you're in the Friends program, you might get the cost of materials rate only that students, staff, and faculty enjoy. But they have a lot of different great stuff, you know, 3D printing, laser cutting, and then just a lot of different multimedia equipment we don't offer behind the desk. So they've got like a booth in there if you want to go like record something. You just talk to them about, you know, locking down the time for that. They've got, I think, some better cameras, some computers maybe you can use with different software than just what's on the free ones over there. That's another thing too, is our computer lab, totally free, open to members of the public. No Library Friends membership required for that one. So let me get into the membership itself. It's going to be $25 lifetime fee. I think if you've ever been UNO alum, so that would be graduated, you're a professor maybe. I don't know if we have anyone that would fall under here today.
Yeah, cashier.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, exactly. Everybody else unaffiliated, $30 annual rate. So not going to break the bank there.
Steve, right? You're an alum.
Oh, excellent. Well, then you guys are all going to get the
okay.
cheap
We got
membership.
quite a few people.
Yeah. But then, so basically what the whole package gets you, and this is laid out much better in the brochure here, but generally It's database access on site, so you'd have access to all of the databases that our students enjoy as part of their tuition. Wow, you get it for $30 a year instead. Isn't that a good deal? You also get checkout privileges for anything on the third floor. So if you don't want to make scans, you want to bring the book home with you. Again, just $30 a year to check out. I think it's 15 items simultaneously, 10 to 15, I want to say.
How many weeks or whatever?
Standard checkout duration is going to be 2 weeks
2
for
weeks?
most things. It'll depend on what you're checking out, but primarily all of the nonfiction materials on the third floor, those are going to be 2 weeks.
And then you can renew it, right? Or no?
Yes, one time, I believe.
So you can get it 4 weeks total, and you can renew it online or call in to renew it. So
yes,
yeah, 4 weeks is pretty good, you know, if you do something like that.
absolutely. And then finally, it's mentioned there too, if we ever have any like events, lectures, anything the library is hosting, you'll be extended an invitation for that where you may not have been able to get in as just a member of the public. And that's really kind of all I got for now, unless you'd like to add anything there at the end. That
And they
maybe
got a
I'm
new
forgetting.
Starbucks downstairs.
Can't forget the Starbucks, absolutely. So if you get, not on the weird hours during the summer.
Not in the summer. Yeah, I asked them that. They closed down right as we were doing our meetings, you know, in the summer. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be there. Like, oh no, we're gonna be closed that time. I'm like, okay, great.
So are we doing meetings here for the rest of the summer?
No, this is a one
But this
time.
is a one-time shot, okay.
Yeah, we're doing it for the special UFO Day, June 20, let's see, 24, I think, Monday, right?
It's National UFO Day.
Yeah, there's two of them. There's one in July and then there's one in June. And so we got kicked out of that one. Well, they're doing maintenance over at that one. So I'm like, well, we got to do a new location anyways. Might as well do the library, see what it's like over here.
Yes, and it's a very, I don't know about over there, but it's always going to be a quiet environment here, even during the week, during the summer. It's very peaceful. So it's a great place to just come and work.
Do you know the cost for printing, scanning stuff?
Yeah, that's a great thing to mention. Thank you. So we do offer printing. I would recommend bringing just a debit or credit card. That's the best way to charge it as a community member or someone without a MAV card, which unfortunately we don't have a better way to do that for our library friends, which we did. But we kind of handle all of our printing through a third-party service. So it's kind of like you upload a document to them, you go over in the computer lab. There's so many steps, but let me get to the point here. With printing, the prices are going to be 9 cents a page, black and white, 40 cents for colored copies. So it's pretty standard rate. Not sure you'd get much a better deal if you even just went down to Office Max or something. Yeah.
Much more.
Yeah, I used to come here all the time and just print off all kinds of stuff, you know.
Yeah, so that can be a great thing too.
And they used to have, I don't know if it's still on thing, but as like a community member, it's like I was a student, but then, you know, I graduated and then there's like a in-between period where I wasn't a student, you know, so I had to get like, they had like a card you could get that was like a MAV card, but it's like, you know, it's just a whatever library card and you could use that to print, right?
We did, we phased those out.
Okay.
Unfortunately, when we ripped out our two.
What if I still got, I got $5 on there, man. I want to get.
No,
Nah.
I think we might have pocketed all.
I want a copy from the Starbucks.
You take that up with them.
Okay, I'll take it up with Rob.
Oh, yeah, he'll get you a good deal.
Yeah.
So like, any other questions I can answer while you got a person standing right here, and I'll be over at the desk all day too, if anyone has anything further. But yeah, I'll open it up if anyone.
Any other questions?
Maybe I'll let you read the brochures first. And
All right, yeah, if you have any other questions, you just come and talk to the front desk. They're super friendly. They'll let you do anything. The Creative Production Lab is real cool. If you want to make UFO stuff, you know, like, you know, whatever in there, they don't do any like metal stuff, but they have like rocks, like coasters and stuff.
Yeah, they do like laser cutting. So
laser cutting out of, what is that? Plastic, some kind of plastic.
So much
Plexiglass.
smarter about that than I am.
They have like plexiglass. Yeah, so you can do engraving, you can do laser cutting. And yeah, if you're like a member, I guess if you have to be a member to be in there, yeah, they usually just, what's
there is. Yeah, you can actually, you might be able to see our setup through the window over there if you happen to walk by, but.
Yeah, they got quite a few 3D printers here, so. And then another thing I've used it for was if you want to do a 3D scan of an object, Yeah, they got like a little spinny thing you could put an object on, spin it around, and it'll give you a 3D file of that image, yeah. So we
How
actually
many
did that.
printers do you,
Hey,
how
yeah,
many
go.
printers do they have?
3D.
3Ds.
Gosh, another great question.
Good
for them
quiz.
While they're open, at least one.
Let's see. Yeah, last I checked, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5. I think about, last time I checked, it was
Okay.
5.
I know they
I
pump.
might just drive up there for that.
There might be one closer to you down in Missouri, just saying.
Well, I've actually got one in the house here. It was always good to know where they're at.
All right, well, any other questions? Otherwise, we'll. All right, well, thanks a lot, Ben.
Thank you for your help with that, and thank you everyone for being here today. We love hosting events like this, so
Oh.
please stop by the desk if you have any further questions.
Will do.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right, well, that'll probably be it for today. So thanks everyone for being here, and yeah, check out some of the materials. And our next meeting will be July 20th.
Brother birthday.
There you go. July 20th, and we'll be at CPAX back at our old location. That's already reserved. And yeah,
Okay, great. Thank you.
yeah, no problem.